There are so many items in GTA Online, and half of them are useless. So in this video, I'm going to go over the 10 things that every GTA Online player needs to own. Starting with fast vehicles. These are going to be your best friend in all aspects of the game, whether that's completing missions faster or simply wanting to get around the map. You are going to need a reliable vehicle, and we'll be starting off with the Toreador, which is one of the most versatile vehicles in the game, including some of the best features out of any. The most obvious one is its rocket boost, but what sets it apart from other boosters in the game is that it has a 2-second recharge, which allows you to move very quickly while maintaining your speed across the map, both on land and in the water, because the Toreador is also a submersible vehicle, which allows you to stay protected in the ocean and inland. It also comes with homing missiles, and while they aren't as effective as others, they do have unlimited ammo capacity, which gives you a massive upper hand against most players. But if you do find yourself under attack, do not worry, because the Toreador takes 6 homing missiles to be destroyed. So overall, this is an awesome vehicle. And speaking of, one of the most well-known and also one of the most hated vehicles is the Oppressor Mark II. And while it does have its downsides, you can't deny that it is a very reliable and versatile vehicle, as it can help you out massively during missions and overall grinding, allowing you to move across the map in literally no time. And if you pair that with the homing missiles, this thing is a beast, especially for grinding purposes. You can get any heist setups and finales done in literally 30 minutes or less if you use this vehicle. However, it does cost $8 million, making it the most expensive vehicle in the game. But maybe that's for a good reason, because only a select few players can actually get their hands on this thing. Although the Oppressor Mark II is a flying bike, you still want a normal bike which can give you just as much options. And that brings me to the Hakachuri Drag, which is one of the fastest land vehicles in the game, reaching top speeds of 160 miles per hour. And that's with the HSW upgrade, which you can get on next gen consoles. And I highly recommend getting this upgrade. And you can make the cost of this bike back in no time by completing the weekly HSW time trials, which can easily be done with this bike, making you 250k every time. But now that we've gone over some of the fastest vehicles, next we have armored vehicles, which are perhaps some of the most important vehicles in the game if you want protection against both players and NPCs. And some of the most infamous options out there are the armored Kuruma, which offers all-round protection from any gunfire that you may encounter. And overall, it is a very useful vehicle to use, especially during missions. However, it does suffer in terms of explosive resistance, as it will instantly be destroyed by any explosives. Another downside is that anyone who is inside of it cannot use any throwables, which can definitely put you at a disadvantage in fights. However, a great alternative to the Kuruma is the Juco Death, as it offers just as much bullet resistance but also explosive resistance, taking up to 4 homing missiles to be destroyed. Overall, these two options are both great, as they are in the same price range and they offer very reliable options for missions. But if you're looking for armored vehicles that can defend you from every aspect of the game, then Armani Tech is a must-have. The Armani Tech upgrades include armor plating and missile lock-on jammers, which turn a regular vehicle into a machine. You can only access Armani Tech upgrades if you have the agency with a vehicle workshop, and there are 20 vehicles in total with Armani Tech features available, 3 of which I will highly recommend buying. The first is the Omnis EGT, which is the most armoured Armani Tech vehicle available, taking upwards of 12 homing missiles to be destroyed. Another great option is the Buffalo STX. Again, it takes 12 homing missiles before blowing up. And the final option I recommend is the Ocelot Virtue, which can be given to you for free if you complete the Last Dose missions as a leader, which is incredible value because you get access to one of the fastest and most armored vehicles for free. Like I mentioned, one of the Armani Tech features include the missile lock-on jammer, which, when equipped, prevents homing missiles from locking onto you. Again, a very helpful upgrade. However, the armor plating is a must for those wanting max protection, especially in those public sessions. So overall, Amani Tech vehicles are an excellent option if you want protection against griefers and anyone in a lobby. But that brings me on to helicopters, which are arguably just as fast as some of the land vehicles we mentioned earlier. And one of the best options in this class is the Sparrow. This is the fastest and most convenient helicopter in the game, as it offers so many benefits. The first one being how agile it is, which combined with its speed actually makes it faster than the Oppressor Mark II. Not only that, but the fact that you can spawn it next to you almost instantly wherever you are makes it just as reliable, especially when completing the Cayo Perico heist setups, because this thing can be stored within the Kosatka Submarine. You can also add missiles to this thing, which are unlimited, and although they don't have the greatest tracking, they do make the Sparrow much more powerful. Definitely get this helicopter if you want an overall beast to fly around with. But perhaps one of the most important things that any player should own is a solid weapon loadout that can be useful for any type of situation. But let's face it, there are far too many weapons in the game, so I'll be going over the best ones for each class and their uses. For shotguns, a great choice is the assault shotgun. This thing has been my go-to for all purposes, especially close range combat. The assault shotgun is amazing. As for your main drive-by weapon, I highly recommend the AP pistol. It's compact and can be very effective for those drive-by kills. However, if you add a suppressor to this thing, it can be your go-to stealth weapon in close range combat. Definitely pick this thing up. But when it comes to your assault rifle, I highly recommend the Special Carbine. It has some of the best accuracy, especially when it comes to long range fights. And if you want a heavy hitter, then the Combat MG is amazing. This thing will shred through crowds. It packs a punch, trust me. And it deals some of the biggest damage, especially if you use it in first person to reduce the recoil. As for your heavy weapons, get yourself a homing launcher and a minigun. These things are going to be so useful for taking out a massive group of targets in a breeze. And finally, if you have the needs to, pick up the Open Atomizer. There's been so many times where this weapon has literally saved my life, whether that's during cell missions, if my vehicle gets stuck, or if I'm just in a sticky situation. The Open Atomizer is so useful for getting out of it, and it does wonders, so pick it up. These weapons are great, but what makes them even better is their Mark II upgrades. Some of these weapons can be upgraded to Mark II versions, which give them much higher damage and overall much higher uses. You can do this by using any weapon workshop within a vehicle or property, such as inside of your Terabyte or the agency, or you can even find one for free in the Freak Shop. This will allow you to add Mark II ammo to these weapons, which gives them so much higher use. I highly recommend upgrading all of them when you can. But while we're on the topic of weapon loadouts, an honorable mention for this list is the Gun Locker. This is an upgrade available for a few businesses in the game, such as the Bunker or the Agency. What the Gun Locker allows you to do is super useful. Instead of having a weapon wheel clogged with useless weapons that you will barely use, you can create your very own custom loadout. By heading to any gun locker, you can choose to hide all unwanted weapons that you don't use anymore, and you will only have the ones that you use available in your weapon loadout, which saves you a lot of time and it's super useful. But with all of that out of the way, let's now get into the best businesses to own. Starting with the Agency, which is the most resourceful business in the game because it gives you the most options out of any property to make money and some of the best features. The first one being the Armory, where you can purchase any weapon and body armor for a discounted price, as well as being able to create your custom loadout, like we mentioned earlier. The Agency is the only property that allows you to upgrade Amani Tech features with the Vehicle Workshop upgrade, which literally makes this one of the most useful properties just for that reason alone. And of course, there are locations for free snacks, and most importantly, you can only pet shop in the Agency, so that is a deal breaker for me. But when it comes to money making, it gets even better, as there are 3 ways that you can earn money. The main one being the Dr. Dre contract, which includes 3 small heists, all ending with a finale. This can take roughly 1 to 2 hours to complete, and it will always earn you $1 million. The next way is through security contracts, which are some quick and easy jobs with different difficulty levels. These will make you between $40,000 to $70,000 for about 10 minutes of work. However, these contracts can generate you passive income through your agency wallsafe, because for every security contract you complete, you generate $100 of daily income, with the limit reaching $20,000 per day, which does mean you need to complete 200 security contracts. However, this is all completely passive, so although you do have to put in the work initially, the rewards after that are definitely worth it. Which leads me to the final way to make money, which is the payphone hits. These are small assassination missions which should only take 5 minutes to complete. Each mission has an assassination bonus that you need to do, which will see you earning $45,000 for a few minutes of work. So this can be something to pass the time between some businesses that you're running. Which now brings me onto the Acid Lab, which is by far the best business that any player can start. If you haven't already, you're missing out on some very easy money. It is also one of the easiest businesses to set up. All you have to do is complete the first dose missions to unlock it, which also gives you up to $400,000 in first time bonuses, which is not bad at all. And of course, if you have completed all 10 Fooligan jobs for Dax, you will be able to purchase the equipment upgrade, which will let you make some serious money. All you gotta do is call up Mutt on your phone to buy supplies for $60,000. In order to get a full Acid Lab, you will only have to resupply twice, which costs $100,000. And this will take 4 hours to produce. And when it does, you can sell it for $239,000. However, if you do this in a public lobby with 20 players or more, you will get the high demand bonus, which will make you $500,000 instead, meaning you're making 400k profit, which is amazing. But it gets better, because when you sell your Acid Lab, no matter how much stock that you are selling, you will only ever get one sell vehicle, which is the delivery bike, making this business beginner and solo friendly. The sell missions are super easy to do. All you gotta do is drop to several locations, or sometimes even just one. A small tip that most of you probably don't know is that if you change your Acid Lab's product name in the interaction menu, you'll get a small 5% bonus on top of whatever you're selling. And even though it is tiny, it's still going to make you some more money, so you may as well do it. It's safe to say that the Acid Lab is an incredible business. Although it does require some work to begin with, it can make you some very easy money, and it's definitely worth running in the background. Which brings me on to one of the better active businesses in the game, which is the auto shop. There are two ways to make money from it. The first one is customer deliveries. Essentially, every now and then, a customer is going to bring in a vehicle for you to modify. It's up to you if you want to, but you can earn between $30,000 to $40,000 if you don't cause any damages to the vehicle, which can be a nice way to waste some time between cooldowns to make some extra money. But if you want to make the big bucks, then you need to do the contracts. You can find these on the board in the auto shop, and they are very fun to complete. There are 8 different contracts in total, and they work just like mini heists, as they only require 2 prep missions and a finale, which can usually be done in less than 30 minutes. And depending on what contract you get, you will earn between $170,000 to $300,000. A quick method to use if you want the highest paying contract is to start up a contract on the board, then leave your auto shop, call Santa, cancel the job, and go back in to start another contract, and you just rinse and repeat this until you get the highest paying one. However, one thing that sets the auto shop apart from other businesses is its features, because if you have the mod shop upgrade, you can modify all of your vehicles inside the auto shop, but all modifications will have a 5% discount. And that's not all. Any modifications that would normally be locked, whether that's from rank restrictions, they will all be unlocked for you in the auto shop, which is a massive bonus to have. But that brings me on to the arcade, which is one of the best heist properties in the game. The main way to make money with the arcade is of course through the casino heist, which is one of the most underrated ways to make money as of 2024 because of the Cayo Perico heist. However, the casino heist is just as good as it, if not better. The main reason people don't do the casino heist anymore is because it requires 2 players compared to the solo meta of the Cayo Perico heist. But even with 2 players, you can make just as much money. But just because the finale requires 2 people doesn't mean the setups do, as you can complete all of the preps as a solo player in less than 1 hour, meaning you only have to invite a friend for the finale. And speaking of, there are 3 different approaches you can use. There's silent and sneaky, the big con, and aggressive. And depending on the loot that you get, as well as the cut that you take, which realistically you should always be taking 80% as a leader, because you have done all of the work for the preps, which gives you 20% for your other friend to take. Then you can earn between 1.5 million to $1.6 million for yourself, which makes this one of the best ways to make money. But the casino heist isn't the only way that the arcade makes money, because there is also passive income. In order to make the maximum amount of daily income through the wall safe, which is $5,000 per day, all you need to do is purchase 1 arcade machine through the computer in the office, and then just place them around all of the slots in the arcade. That way, you will easily make 5k per hour for literally doing nothing. It isn't bad, but it isn't great, because on the computer you can also purchase the master control terminal for $1.7 million, which is one of the most useful purchases you can ever make. Although the Terabyte recently received the master control terminal upgrade, you can still get this thing in the arcade, which allows you to save some money if you don't already own a Terabyte. This thing will allow you to manage all of your businesses from the comfort of the arcade. On here, you can run basically every business, including MC businesses, the bunker, nightclub, and the warehouses. You can resupply them all from this single location, which means you don't have to fly out to every single business just to manage them. This will save you so much time, and it's honestly one of the best investments you can make. Next up, we have by far the best passive income business, which is of course the nightclub. Now, there are 2 ways that you can make money from it. The more popularity that you have in your nightclub, the more money that you're going to make from the wall safe. So if your popularity bar is full, you can earn $50,000 every in-game day. So this is an amazing way to earn some quick cash. But how do you get the popularity bar up? Well, one of the easiest ways is by entering your nightclub and going over to the blue dots on your map, which is where you can kick out troublemakers or escort a VIP home. This will give you a massive boost in popularity every single time, and it is a great way to maintain your popularity bar. Now, you used to be able to go into the nightclub in passive mode and get these troublemakers every single time to kick out, so you didn't have to wait the 48-minute cooldown. However, you can no longer do this with a nerf that Rockstar made, which means it's going to take a little bit longer to fill up your popularity. But still, you can kick out the troublemakers whenever you like, and it's a quick way to boost your popularity bar. Another easy way is by simply booking any DJ on your computer. Every time that you do this, you'll get a small bump in popularity. So always keep an eye on your popularity bar, and if you see it needs filling up, always do it for some easy money. The main way to make money from the nightclub is the warehouse. Now, there are a maximum of 5 different technicians that you can assign in here. The first one will always be free for you when you start up the business, but the rest will cost more money. Each technician can be assigned to a different type of product, and their job is pretty simple. All you have to do is collect the goods for that product. However, in order to assign the technicians to a certain product, you do need to own a required business that is linked to that product. So it's important that you only assign the technicians to the most profitable types of cargo, which include cargo and shipments, which is going to be your special cargo warehouses, sporting goods, which is going to be the bunker, then we have South American imports, which is your Coca-Cola lockup, and then pharmaceutical research, which is the Lou Lab, and finally cash creation, which, you guessed it, is the counterfeit cash factory. Altogether, these 5 product types will generate your warehouse $50,000 per hour, only if you have the equipment upgrade, which I recommend buying if you want to make more money. So overall, the nightclub is one of the best businesses if you want to make some insane passive income.
However, you will need all of the other businesses that I mentioned above to make this worth your time. So only get the nightclub if you have the businesses that I mentioned earlier to obviously make the most money. But other than that, this is a very solid business that you should definitely add to your floor of passive income in the game.
Which brings me on to the final item on this list, and that is the Kosatka Submarine, which is probably the most popular business in the game. It's technically a vehicle, however, it does allow you to start up the Cayo Perico heist, which is still to this day the king of moneymakers, and it's the best heist in the game, there's no doubt about that. For a first time playthrough, I recommend just enjoying the heist itself and everything that the DLC had to offer when it launched, because you will get sick of this heist very fast, trust me on that, because this will stay in your grinding routine for a long time. The heist setups can be done in less than 30 minutes when using the Sparrow, which is why the Sparrow was on this list. This is by far the fastest heist in the game to complete, and when it comes to the finale, it can also be done in less than 10 minutes. That's an entire heist done from start to finish in just 40 minutes if you know what you're doing. And depending on your secondary and primary targets, you can earn anywhere from $1.2 million to $1.6 million per hour, which still makes it the best way to make money compared to all of the other businesses that I mentioned. The only downside to this heist is its cooldown, because as a solo player, there will now be a 2.5 hour cooldown before you can start up another. This is reduced to just 48 minutes, however, when playing as a group. It is a small downside for solo players, but it still makes it the best heist in the game. You can run the agency or the auto shop in the background while you wait for this cooldown, so it's not that big of a deal. But with all that being said, those were the 10 things that you needed to own in GTA Online. I hope this video helped in some way, and if it did, be sure to subscribe and drop a like on it, and if you want to, check out some more videos that are on screen now. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.